What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you for watching. It is literally hot as hell out here today. I've never been to hell, but I would imagine that it probably feels something like this. It's unbearable, so I'm going to try my best to get through this video, but this ought to be a good one. I think this is a first for us here on the channel. I don't believe we've ever done anything like this before, but today we're going to torture and attempt to break into our very first safe. So here it is. This is the X-Large Sentry Safe. You can see it is a combination and a key, so multiple ways to get into this one. I would imagine the key is probably the fastest if you're in a hurry, and I paid about 160 bucks for this, so pretty cheap, pretty affordable for a safe. And I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube of guys torture testing safes, mainly the bigger ones. I don't think I've ever seen one on a safe like this, but I'm sure they're out there. They're just way too common. Millions of people have them and you can find them everywhere, so I'm sure it's been done, but we've never done it here. And being a gun channel, I know that a lot of people get these to store guns or other valuables, and I thought that a torture test made sense. So today we're gonna shoot this thing, beat it up, burn it, and just see how tough a Sentry Safe really is. Let's do it. All right, so before we get the guns out and start the fun stuff, I'm just gonna try to beat this thing up a little bit. If someone were to steal a safe, they're probably not gonna shoot it right away because they don't wanna destroy whatever's inside. They're probably gonna hit it with a hammer, a crowbar, pick it up and drop it, stuff like that, which this one's like 90 pounds, so we're probably not gonna pick it up and drop it, but it wouldn't break it open anyway. But I do have a hammer and a crowbar, so we're just gonna try to beat this thing up a little bit and see if it opens. All right, so the two ways to get into this thing are the rod that goes through the door hinge right here, and then there's 4 locking rods that go from the door to the body over on this side. So that's gonna be our best bet of getting into this thing. Let me just crank the body one time really hard. Oh wow, that's pretty tough. Well, broke our combination lock off. All right. I hit that thing quite a few times. You can see a little dent up there on the top of the rod, some dents on the body. I hit it really good on top, and then over here by the locking rods, knocked the combination lock right off the front. That's just plastic, obviously not too important, but that big metal rod ain't going anywhere. The body is really tough, as you can see, and just dented it. Definitely not coming open. Let's try a little crowbar. This ain't gonna work, but just because I know people will ask, I'll go ahead and try. All right, got it in there good. Yeah, it's just gonna peel the plastic, but not get behind there enough. Yeah, so the door kind of flexes, so if you try to pry it open with a crowbar, it doesn't allow the crowbar to stick in there, it just pops right out. All right, so the combination wheel still spins, but neither the key or the combination lock are letting us in. It must have seized it up when I beat it with a hammer, so the only way we're getting it open is to break it. So this one claims to be fireproof for up to an hour, which is a pretty long time. Obviously I won't be able to burn it for an hour on video. I was gonna bring lighter fluid out here, soak it and light it on fire, but I forgot. But I still have our torch. So I'm just gonna burn the outside of this thing for a few seconds and see how much damage it does. It's lighting. Well, it's definitely burning, but that is pretty impressive. It's not really getting anywhere. It's just kind of, you know, melting the outside of it. But you can tell that that would probably take quite a while to actually burn all the way through that thing. And then you have, you know, 4 sections of hard steel rods that you're gonna have to get through to actually get it open, unless you were to just burn out an entire hole and, you know, pop it out that way. But possible, but definitely not easy. So I would imagine the heat that's coming off of that torch is probably hotter than most house fires would be, unless this thing is like engulfed in flames for a long time. But you can see the damage that it did right there on the front. It stinks, probably not the best thing for me to be breathing in, but it burnt off that top layer, and you can see what it looks like underneath. Melted it quite a bit, but we still got a long way to go. So I planned on opening this thing back up after I beat it with a hammer and burn it with a torch and finding out where those rods were at so we knew where to shoot, but it won't open. So I went ahead and put our stickers on there anyway, and I just kind of guessed. There's 4 rods, like I said, so I spaced them out pretty evenly, and I would assume that's about where they're at in that door. So that's where I'm gonna aim with the gun, as well as our rod on the door hinge there, and we'll see what bullets actually do to this thing. All right, so we're gonna start with the 9mm out of the SIG P365 XL. First, I'm gonna put one round right in the middle of the door just to see how bulletproof it is. Then I'll start shooting the important stuff, and we'll see how long it takes us to get this thing open. Go right below that combination lock. Looks like it completely stopped it. All right, let's check it out. All right, so I put a couple in the middle of it there. I was trying to shoot that handle off and I went low. I put the iron sights back on my SIG. They might be hitting a little bit to the left because a couple of these went to the left, and you can see those holes are definitely kind of deep. Let me see if I can. Okay, so it went, you know, like several inches into that. Let me see about this one here. Same thing, probably dang near all the way through. I'm hanging up on something in there. Okay, yeah, so that one right there definitely, you can see, went all the way through that safe. Let me look at the back side here. Yeah, we got exit holes out the back on some of those for sure. So definitely not bulletproof, which I don't think it advertises to be, but still nowhere near getting that door open. Since I know these bullets are going straight through it, I stepped up just a little bit. I'm gonna put a few more 9mm on it and try to actually hit the important parts this time. Let's go for that rod on the right-hand side. There we go. All right, so you can see where some of those bullets went. It looks like we bent the rod, maybe broke through it a couple times. It's obviously still locked in there, rock solid, nowhere near breaking it. All right, now we're gonna try the Underwood Extreme Penetrator out of the Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum. I didn't bring a ton of guns out here. I brought a 9mm, a 500, and a 12 gauge shotgun. So we're just gonna go straight to the 500, shoot a couple of these, and see if we can hit it. The problem with this gun is flinching, and I'm sure I'll probably miss, but let's give it a shot. Looks like I hit right in the middle next to the 9mm. I'm gonna try to hit one of those rods over there. Barely went low. Let's try it again. Man, same spot, I think. Try the one above it. It's rocking that entire safe. Every time those 500 Magnums hit it, I can see the whole thing moving. Let's see if we can hit the rod on the right-hand side. Smoked it. Do it one more time. All right, let's check it out. All right, so there's the very first one that I shot. I wanted to put one in the middle just to see the exit hole, so let's go ahead and go to the back. So there it is. There's our exit hole from the 500. Look at that compared to our 9mm. Quite a big difference. And then I put a couple of them over here on this rod, and it looks like we blew straight through that rod. Don't know if y'all can see in there as well as I can. That's either a bullet or a piece of the metal. I'm really not sure. Oh yeah, that rod is actually loose. I'll see if I can pry that out here in a second. And then I put a couple over here. So both of those look like they're about an inch low from where I was aiming. But you can see that right there on the edge of the door. I even got one over there to the left. And then, holy crap, dude. Look at the exit hole on this one. That one looks like it just went right along the bottom and blew out that whole back right corner. That is amazing. So there's one piece of the rod. Oh, that's interesting. That doesn't look like it's broken at all. It just looks like that's how it's made. You can see that's definitely not split in half by a bullet. So maybe that rod doesn't go all the way down like I thought it did. And then the bottom one here, see if we can get it out. Yep, there we go. All right, so we got the top and the bottom of these things out. Unfortunately, you can see that it's actually welded from the door to the other side. So we're gonna have to basically split that entire piece off right there, which we're starting to up there on top. Let's step it up a little bit. Let's try a 12 gauge mini slug. See what this does. I'm hitting like 1 inch to the side of everywhere I'm aiming. Let's try it again. Nailed that one. All right, so that one right there, the first one's to the right. The second one is right where my sticker was at. You can see the sticker above it and below it. I don't know if it actually went through the steel rod. It looks like it definitely went all the way through, but whether or not that's where the steel rod was at, I don't know. Let's just work all the way down that left-hand side. All right, so we're gonna do a mini slug first, and then behind that, I have 2 of these Monolith 28 steel head slugs. I don't know if you guys can see inside of that shotgun shell, but it's a solid steel slug, and look at the end of that thing. So these ought to be quite a big jump up from the mini slugs. Let's see. I'm gonna start at the top and then just go down from there. I'm close. All right, so I was aiming on that line going straight down the door. Our mini slug hit right there on top. Perfect hit. I don't really know if that's maybe a little bit high. Might be above the steel rod. Our first steel slug hit about 1 inch to the right, and then the second one I put right there, which is perfect. Again, I don't know if any of those hit the steel rods, but look at the exit hole. My God, that's like a perfect hole straight out of the back of this thing. That might have been from a mini slug earlier, I'm not really sure, or it could have been from one of our steel slugs. But either way, you can see the door is starting to kind of peek open just a little bit. Definitely not opening up yet, but we're getting there. All right, so we've done 9mm, 500 Magnum, and some 12 gauge shotgun slugs, but we haven't done one of these yet. So these are the homemade exploding 12 gauge shotgun slugs that I made a while back. They have a binary mixture in the hollow point cavity and then a 22 blank capping off the hollow point cavity. So when they impact something, the 22 blank detonates, which then detonates the binary mixture, and the results are pretty amazing. Let's see what this does. I might try to put this one along that right hand side and see if we can knock that loose. We're getting close. Let's try another one. There's smoke pouring out of that safe. I'm gonna try one more of these. Yes, that could not have been any more perfect. Well, we did it. All right, so there it is. Still smoking like crazy. Hope you guys can see that. There's just smoke pouring out of that thing. And obviously the carnage on the inside is real. So here's our door that just flew off the safe. Oh, there's our handle. Just pulled that right out. You can see those metal rods are completely blown out of there. Looks like that was probably an exploding shotgun slug right there. That ended this thing once and for all. So here's some of our rods right here. You can see, pretty heavy. Definitely feels stout. So it didn't actually like go through or destroy any of these, but it destroyed the housing that was holding the metal rod. So if you destroy the piece that's holding them in there, then they pretty much become pointless, and the steel doesn't matter because we just knocked them right out of the door. But yeah, none of these are damaged at all. You can see over here where that first exploding shotgun slug hit, and I mean just blew a baseball size hole in that thing. Looks like it might have stopped it though, along the side of the safe right there. I do not see an exit hole, so that slug is in there, but it just completely ripped that right hand side apart, and then we finished it off on the left-hand side. So here's what it looks like on the inside of the safe. We can get one of these out of there. And then there's the other tray right there. And there's all that stuff that they fill the walls of these things with. So quite a big mess. Actually held up pretty well, but I would imagine that if someone were to steal your safe and do that to it, they're probably going to destroy the contents on the inside anyway, so probably not the best way to go about it, but we did break it open. All right, so obviously shot placement is most important with a test like this. I had a couple misses that didn't really go where I was aiming, but like I showed you guys, you don't even have to hit the metal rods. If you destroy the housing around the metal rods, then they'll just fall right out and the door will come right off like we had here. But this thing took, you know, 10 or 15 9mm, 6 or 8 500 magnums, a few shotgun slugs, including several exploding shotgun slugs before we finally got it open. And like I said, if someone were to steal your safe and do this to it, they're gonna destroy the valuables that are on the inside anyway before they even get it open. So it's probably not the best way to go about it, but it's actually pretty tough. It took quite a few rounds, more than I expected. So I am impressed. They're not the toughest to get into or the most expensive safe out there, but for 150 bucks, not too bad. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. If you liked the video, as always, please hit that like button for me, guys. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.